Over my many hours of DBD, I've noticed that the characters a person chooses to play often defines them as a player. I've always been super inspired by the content creators I've watched in the past, so I wanted to do a little homage while making something fun. This little mini-series is going to go over the most popular stereotypes on both Killer and Survivor, with each video describing how they play and what their stereotypes are. And no, I don't want to drag this out, make this a super long series defining cosmetics for them too. That would take me far too long, and honestly I don't have stereotypes for those. Full disclaimer, there are always exceptions to stereotypes. Just because a stereotype exists doesn't mean that everybody fits in it. An example is like, let's say you play Leon. Playing Leon means you're fucking bad at the game. Well, you might not be bad, but everybody's gonna think you are. It's not like people who just play one specific character are always bad or always a tryhard or whatever. It's the video's for fun. It's just for fun. Evans are the jack of all trades. I know I just talked about how to not use cosmetics as a definer for a stereotype, but whenever you see an Evan, you're going to know how they're going to play based upon their cosmetics. You see a default, or you see a Frosty Eyes, you already know how he's going to be rocking. You see one of these guys though, and oh, it's not going to be a fun game for you. These guys hate dedicating to chase. They'll hit you, and they're obviously running sloppy. Look across the map and see Michaela Reed and go, oh yeah, that's a better target, and leave directly as 3 gens pop. They will also have really, really bad internet. Hillbilly players are old school players. They're the ones that grasp onto Instasaw and Crackbilly like it was just yesterday, and honestly, I kinda get it. It's that big nostalgia feeling for what the game once was. They also, for some reason, get incredibly angry when a pallet is dropped in front of them, instead of the survivor just playing around their curve for 3 minutes. If it's that much of an issue, stop running doubles, and please run low pro. You really like doing this to people. In all seriousness though, people who stuck with nerfs post-nerf just enjoy playing her. All of the people who stopped playing her after her nerf just really enjoy playing broken characters. There are 2 types of Myers players. There's the ones who love the Halloween series, and when I say love, I mean love. They try to embody him, they love Myers so much they're trying to scare the absolute shit out of people. And then there's Tombstone players. They really like engaging gameplay. These guys love staying by a hook, and when I say love, I mean they're just sitting right in front of you setting like 5 traps. Either that, or they are running a full Chag build and screaming Chag as they dedicate to you and chase. These guys love running Merciless Storm and Double Calm. They also love swinging at absolutely everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything. Window, swing. Pallet, swing. Out in the open, swing. They don't care, just swing. These guys always get inspired by others who go for crazy shots like snipes or orbitals. They get on their perks and their add-ons, and then they end up proxying a survivor. There's bonus points given if they're running double halved because they already knew they'd probably be camping someone. Do I need to explain this one? Like, I guess it depends on the cosmetics they're wearing and all, but they all end up usually doing the same thing. Actually, hold on, yeah, I got a list, hold on, okay, let me start from the top. Hello. I have noticed that there is quite a few people who complain about my, in quotations, face camping. I think of myself that face camping is a barbaric term and would prefer to call it strategic waiting. I will now list all of the offenses you can commit as a survivor that will earn you the honor of receiving one of my patented strategic waitings. Click or blind me with a flashlight, get a strategic waiting. Blind me with a blast mine, everyone gets a strategic waiting. Bring an item, get a strategic waiting. Bring a BNP, insta-heal, or styptic, everyone gets a strategic waiting. Loot me for too long, get a strategic waiting. Stun me with a pallet, get a strategic waiting. Teabag, get a strategic waiting. Be a member of my naughty list, everybody gets a strategic waiting. Okay, I think that covers it all, right? These guys really like Nightmare on Elm Street. They really like it. Every time I see a Freddy main, they either worship him and miss the good old days of Forever Freddy, or they just really like the IP. Respect to these guys. Boop snoot, haha funny! Okay, we're done? Alright, well these guys really like role-playing Release Legion to kill you without chasing. If they get into a chase, they are going to lose the game. I've never seen a pig actually use ambush properly because they either don't want to or they don't know how to. Clown mains are an enigma. Most of them used to run Pinky Finger and Gin, tunneled in camps like absolute crazy 2 to 3 years ago. Nowadays they kinda just run Bleach and Ether 15 and run Dissolution. They also joke about the 130-page clown guide that they have literally never read because it's the only joke they know. Either that, or they're playing clown on PTB. Spirit mains are one of 2 types. They either use EQ with their $1,000 headphones, or they just can't play other S tiers. Most Spirit players usually short phase and try to turbo zone with power because they can't dedicate to long phasing, even though they're already running turbo bass boosted sounds on their headphones. They also reminisce about Ring Amulet like it was the olden days. These guys really like running fast and stabbing people. You know what? They know what they're gonna do, and they're gonna do it. Respect to them. I don't know if I can respect the fact that they get spun 30 times though. These guys hate playing any game shorter than 45 minutes. I don't think I gotta go any further than that. Okay, I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible, but these guys are actual NPCs, like genuine NPCs. They're going to BM you to absolute hell if you even look at them wrong. I'm gonna set you to challenge really quick. If you're in chase with a Danny, take yourself over to TNL and start a timer instantly. They're going to pop Shroud in the first 5 seconds and attempt to mind game you, because no matter your skill level, you're going to have at least 45 seconds at a TNL. With Stranger Things coming back, demo players are literally everywhere right now. Demo players are the type that will defend their character to the end, similar to the Billy players. However, when you see them, they're either running Stabiffle or they're going to turbo zone you with power. This is also what they'll defend. Oni players are actually pretty good at the game when they're in power and running speed add-ons. If the Oni isn't running speed or out of power for 3/4 of the game like they should be, they're genuinely terrible. Okay, I know I just talked about demo and running Stabiffle, but these guys are always running that perk. Either that or they're running Cigar. They are also afraid of holding M2 and pressing M1 to actually use their power and will walk you down harder than a trapper nurse. Pyramid heads come in many varieties. Some of them will walk you down more than a nurse who missed a blink. Others will try to flick more than an Oni main and miss completely. Most of the time though, these guys will use the best tunneling kit in the entire game and proceed to fail harder than twins getting a bug fix patch. Oh man, these guys. Every single Blight overestimates their skill almost always. A pretty good Blight would think that they're just an absolute god. Meanwhile, the average pub Blight is missing almost every rush they have, thinking they're absolute god at the game as well. You can also tell the skill level of the Blight by how they think about the killer's add-ons. The good ones acknowledge that Blight is broken as hell. The bad ones, however, will defend their add-ons, and this is encapsulated tenfold when they're ranting in the endgame while running Vile with either C33 or Crow. Whoa, hey guys! These guys don't exist! Haha! Anyways, when you see a twins, you're either going to stomp completely or you're going to understand what soil tastes like. Victor's also a lovely little guy who does not work half the time he exists. He will either legit miss you and somehow give a lovely kiss to your hitbox, or he's just going to phase through you as he watches as he tastes the strongest roundhouse kick. With all those Trickster changes, most of my Trickster ideas are typically outdated, but most of the time, you see a Trickster, you're getting camped. That's how it's going to go. Most of these guys came in during the 5th anniversary when he launched. I gonna do the obligatory, I love tunneling, but most Nemesis players are actually pretty chill nowadays. Just expect the average pub Nemesis to be running Stabiffle and legit not know how to use their power.
What in the actual sack?
Artist players commonly represent what people say about this killer. Being skillless. They'll set up a zone on you, walk you down, and then somehow miss astronomically. They're also running Pain Res DMS, but you already knew that. Alright, Onyro players hype up their killer as some big-brained having to think killer, having to express macro across the map. However, when they see the loading screen, they turn their brains off completely, they forget how to teleport, and they just spam manifest demanifest when in chase. They are also running Irritate and Comb. These guys love Sloppy Butcher and arguably more than Spirit players. They're also usually running a map offering, preferably to Midwich, RPD, or Larry's. They also love channeling their inner 5th anniversary and making console players crash. Most of them, however, don't know how to zone well, so if you see an odd-placed remnant, just run right by it because they're probably not going to teleport back. Wesker players are similar to Blight players. The key difference is about how they ego. Wesker players will post their clips on Twitter and act like they're an absolute god, meanwhile it's just like a normal dash. The actual good Weskers, absolutely no bias here by the way, usually just throw games and get incredibly angry when someone decides to path an inch to the left. Night players are either the strongest crayon chewers, or they're playing 5D chess. I get it, having friends in the trial is pretty cool. Either way though, if you play this killer, you're getting boosted by AI. Current skull merchants will try to do everything in their power to not let you engage at a tile. If they notice you path towards a tile whatsoever, their first thought is to press M2 and watch as you're forced to leave the tile. Either that, or they'll sniff your back the entire time, going for a 2-tap with stacks like Knight, only for them to not notice that you've only had one the whole time and they just wasted nearly 2 minutes. Singularity players are the type to run an incredibly strong build against a 200-hour lobby combined and then praise him like he's top 5. They're usually running Sama Family Photo in either form or glove with an incredibly strong build. No matter what though, if you EMP them once, they will go to the forums instantly and start bitching about EMPs. I get it, getting EMP'd is rough. However, you can still play your killer if you set up your biopods right. Xenomorph players are verbatim copy-paste demos. The only difference is that Xenos do not know how to hit anyone with their power. They defend her to an absolute T, but when asked to actually use the power, they will just walk you down and brainlessly use Stibiffle. Chucky players are the ones that just absolutely love dash killers, and every single time a new dash killer comes out, they flock over to the new one, and that's the only killer they'll play for the next year before another dash killer comes out. Also Chuck spots. I like holding a Chuck spot. I guess that should be all the killers up to now, yeah? I could go into more detail about some of the stereotypes, but I don't really want it to be super long. I don't plan on doing another one of these for killer later on, so this is all of them for now. Your main comes out after, I don't care. Next one should be about Survivor, so stay tuned for that. Also, this is for entertainment purposes only. If you got mad about your stereotype, it's not accurate, I don't care.